A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today. So cheers to that. Now this is a book that I was interested in only primarily because of the title and the cover when I saw it. But then there's a bit of a backstory to this book that when I heard about it got me really fascinated and excited to read this thing. This is Eruption, written by Michael Crichton and James Patterson. Now, Michael Crichton got his medical degree from, I believe, Harvard, but decided not to practice medicine and instead focused on writing. So a number of his novels, I think he wrote 26 novels in the span of his lifetime, deal with medicine, technology, oh, pardon me, that kind of thing. He wrote novels like The Andromeda Strain, Congo, Rising Sun, most famously Jurassic Park, of course. And sadly passed away in 2008 due to, I believe he had cancer. I think he was 66 years old or something along those lines. And Eruption was a book that he'd been working on but never actually finished. And his wife, who was pregnant at the time of his passing, found the manuscript that he'd started working on for Eruption in his notes and read it. And he had left it at a cliffhanger, so he'd never actually finished the book and it stopped on a cliffhanger. And his wife was really interested to know how the book actually ended. So she ended up kind of finding an author who could finish the novel for him. And that author was James Patterson. James Patterson, of course, a very prolific thriller author who has written many series of books, the most famous being the Alex Cross novels, which I absolutely love. Some of the Alex Cross books have been turned into film adaptations starring Morgan Freeman as Alex Cross, and I believe there was a Tyler Perry as Alex Cross as well. But the novels are absolutely phenomenal. James Patterson is a fantastic author. I've watched his masterclass on writing. It was absolutely brilliant. But the problem being, he is not a technical author, whereas Michael Crichton is a very technical author. He gets into the nitty-gritty of the science behind things, and we learn a lot about that. I mean, just look at the TV show ER, which Michael Crichton basically created. And you will see that details are incredibly important. So Michael Crichton's widow asked James Patterson to finish the story. James Patterson then had to write it in such a fashion as the reader wouldn't be able to tell which parts were written by him, which parts were written by Michael Crichton. Now, I've read a number of Michael Crichton novels. I've read a number of James Patterson novels, and I can tell you it's very difficult to tell which parts are Michael Crichton and which parts are James Patterson. That's how good James Patterson did finishing this story. And I say finishing because the biggest gripe I have with this book is the fucking ending. Oh my God, I can't tell you how disappointed I was with the ending to this thing. Through the entire book, it's an edge of your seat thriller. Down to the last, I would say, 20 pages. And then you're just like, well, what was the fucking point of all that? But would I recommend this book to anyone? Of course I would. This was so much fun. It basically has you second guessing yourself because the characters are second guessing themselves. You've got volcanologists, you've got military, and you've got these Bear Grylls style fucking showboating celebrity types all kind of coming together because one of the largest volcanoes on one of the Hawaiian Islands is going to erupt, and they are trying to work out how to save things. I'm just going to put it there for anyone that doesn't want spoilers. Now, let's talk about the front cover and the back cover are almost identical, but you've got a title like Eruption, and you got this amazing picture of a volcano. You've got it on the back cover, and you've got it on the spine as well. So you know kind of what you're getting yourself in for when you pick this novel up. You see Michael Crichton, you see a volcano, and you think there's something fucking iffy here. There's something going on. There's something behind the scenes, and that's exactly what this fucking is. So, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Would recommend it. Really fantastic. It was released this year. This is a new book, but go and check this out if you like this kind of a thing. If you just want to know what the story's about, stick around, because I'm going to just jump right into the next episode of
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
Okay, I'm going to tell you up front, after I have another nice drink of cool beer. It's very hot and humid over here at the moment, so that really cools you down. There are a lot of characters in this book, and I'm going to forget some of their names, even though I finished it last night. The book starts with this character called Rachel. Rachel works at the Botanical Gardens on the big island of Hawaii, which we do get a map of at the front of the book. Now, this is in the prologue, set in 2016, and she finds that this grove of banyan trees have these mysterious black blotches on them for some reason. And while she's investigating this, military soldiers come in hazmat suits. The Botanical Gardens are evacuated, and she is ultimately fired from her job. And she has no idea what the fuck is going on. We jump to today, and the main character, this volcanologist called John McGregor, though everyone just calls him Mac. He has a team of volcanologists that kind of work with him. There's Jenny, Rick, and Pia, and some others. I'm going to forget all their names. It's a lot of characters, and it gets a little confusing. But he is teaching these kids how to surf. He's got this little group of kind of high school kids that he's taken under his wing and set them on the right path and whatnot. And he gets called back to the office because the big volcano, they think it's going to erupt. And the military get involved because where this thing is going to erupt, there is this place called the ice tube, and the ice tube contains nuclear waste, or radioactive waste, I should say, that is a potential biohazard. It's what caused the trees in the prologue in 2016 to basically disintegrate to ash. This stuff will turn anything living tissue into ash really quickly, and the military have kept it in this place, and they've tried to move these canisters, but this is going back to the 1970s and 80s, but as the presidents have changed and the administration has changed, this place has just been forgotten. And now with this eruption, there's a danger of this stuff being released. And if it gets released, it's going to go into the atmosphere. If it goes into the atmosphere, it's going to spread across the world, and it's basically going to destroy the Earth. Typical Michael Crichton, end of the world kind of stuff, but really cool. So, Mac and his team have been called in by the military to come up with a plan as to how to stop this from happening. And they come up with a couple of solutions. One of them is an aerial bombing run to kind of create holes that can divert the lava. Another one is a demolitions run that's going to do the same thing. So they're kind of going back and forth on this. At the same time, there's this couple called the Cutlers, Oliver and Leah, and they're these pseudo-volcanologists who basically are trying to be celebrities, and they've got this multi-millionaire backer, this guy called J.P. Brett, who is behind them, and they're made aware of the situation and that McGregor is part of the solution, and they're like, that guy's a fuckwit. Let's fucking go over there and let's make this all about us. Typical fucking middle-aged social influencer bullshit, if you would. There's a demolitions team who is already working on the island itself. They're there to demolish a hotel so the hotel next to it can expand. And they're kind of called in. The main person there is Rebecca Cruz. And there becomes this weird love triangle between Mac, Rebecca, and Mac's associate Jenny, who is working kind of on his team. And so Mac and his team know that this toxic shit is in the ice tube, and that is why they've been called in. The kind of head of the military, like the head of the whole military, this guy called Rivers, comes in, and at first he kind of butts heads with Mac about everything, but then kind of gets to see what the fuck is going on. And so the whole thing is basically three factions: Mac, the military, and the Cutlers and their multi-millionaire friend JP Brett, devising three different strategies on how best to protect not only the city that is built at the base of this volcano, this place called Hilo, but also stopping the toxic shit from getting into the environment, although Mac's group and the military are the only ones that know about the toxic stuff. So you get a lot of back and forth between the plans and whatnot, and eventually Rivers decides, let's do all three, because one of them is bound to fucking work. Now, the people of the town realize that something's going on because Rebecca, the woman from the Botanical Gardens, has come back to Hawaii to kind of find out what the fuck's going on, and has gotten the reporters from the New York Times involved. The Cutlers have been told not to tell the media anything, and yet they go out and do these press conferences and say, yep, this is the big one, we're all fucked. And that starts this panic in the fucking town. And all of this shit kind of goes down at the same time. Now, what is done very well is each chapter, well, not each chapter, but I would say 80% of the chapters have a timer. 60 hours till eruption. 40 hours till eruption. And that builds the tension as you're reading this fucking book. You're like, Jesus Christ, they got 24 hours. What the fuck? 6 hours. What the fuck? It gets really tense at the end of the fucking book. Now, in a book like this, there are obviously going to be deaths. There are civilians that die. there are soldiers that die, and it's mainly due to the fact that one of the military guys who, because the canisters that are holding this toxic shit, the glass has started to crack because of the heat from the volcano. And so when the glass breaks, this stuff gets out, and they've got to get the hazmat suit guys to go in and clean it up. And sometimes the hazmat suits get torn, and then that soldier is going to inevitably get infected and pass away. So you've got a number of soldiers that this happens to, and then one soldier, because he's got a date, he fucks off doing all the procedure to decontaminate himself and just goes on the date and ends up infecting his girlfriend, who ends up infecting her grandparents, and then the shit starts to spread. So not only do you have the eruption happening, but now you've got a biohazard situation going on as well. And then the tension just kind of ramps up. They find soldiers in this cabin that did the same thing, that are all fucking dead. And so even if they do stop the lava flow, they've still got this biohazard to fucking contend with, depending on how successful the eruption is, or stopping the eruption is, I should say, because if the eruption wipes out everything, then the world's fucked anyway, and who really gives a shit? In the process of doing the three plans, I should say, JP Brett, the Cutlers, decide to take a camera guy up in a helicopter over the volcano, even though it was considered a no-fly zone, and the island has been put under martial law. As they're over it in this helicopter, the volcano starts to do this mini eruption, and the helicopter starts to malfunction. The pilot's like, we got to get out of here. And as he turns, the cameraman falls and lands in a river of lava, thus killing him, which pisses off the military because it was a no-fly zone. And everyone is fucking kind of angry about this. It's discovered that a volcano at the Galapagos Islands has erupted, but the naval forces managed to halt the flow with precision missile strikes. So Max sends two of his team to go there, and they use JP Brett's private plane because it's the fastest in the world. And their job is to see if the missile strikes actually worked, and could that be something that we could use, because the eruption rate is kind of increasing now. The time limit is getting shorter. So Jenny and Rick go to the Galapagos Islands, and they go up to the edge of the volcano, and they're taking pictures to see what happens. And then because of the missile strikes, the edge of the volcano collapses, and both of them are actually killed. They're dead. I told you they were dead. I know it's sad. Yeah, you don't have anything to say about that, do you? Okay. So Brett and the Cutlers and some other people go up again in the helicopter, and the helicopter is ultimately destroyed, and they are killed in the subsequent eruption. So now you have the cameraman Montgomery, Jenny, Rick, JP Brett, and the Cutlers have all been killed. At the same time, the volcano does erupt, but it doesn't erupt where they expected it to. And so it destroys another town on a different edge of the volcano. So those people are killed, trying to kind of flee, and you get a group of high school students that are rowers are kind of in the ocean as the lava comes down, and then they're trying to get back to land to get out of there, and their boats overturn and they're boiled alive. And one of them is the son of the civil defense guy who is basically fucking everything up for everyone. So no one gives a shit. So the only option is a precision strike using a fighter plane at a precise point so that the lava will kind of divert down two paths, missing the city, missing the main city, and missing the place where all of the fucking toxic shit is, even though the military were trying their best to get that toxic shit out. So Mac goes up in this fighter plane with this guy and this pilot named Rayleigh, who is like the best fighter pilot. And they go up there and they're flying over the volcano because all of the ash and shit has come up and the lava's kind of flowing down. And it's this real fucking Top Gun moment, which I fucking appreciated because they actually do reference Top Gun in this. And I thought, all right, if this was a fucking movie, and yes, this needs to be a movie or a Netflix series or fucking something, because this would be so goddamn cinematic, it's not fucking funny. And then more people would appreciate the work of both Michael Crichton and James Patterson. So whoever's out there that's watching that knows a producer, director, whatever, get this shit made. Get this fucking shit sold to Hollywood. It'd be better than the crap coming out now. Anyway, they're in this fighter plane. They know the precise point, and the pilot is like, tell me when to fucking hit the bomb, and the missile will fucking go down, and all will be good. And Mac is like, wait for it, wait for it. Okay, now. And he hits the thing, and because of all the ash, it malfunctions. And you're like, fuck. What are they going to fucking do? And then Mac gets on the radio, and he's like, there's only one thing we can do. And Riley's like, yep, I fucking hear you. I know what we've got to do. And their plan is to crash that fucking plane right where they're going to drop that missile, and it'll fucking stop everything. And you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is awesome. That's where the awesome ends, my friends. That's where the awesome fucking ends. Because as they're about to crash the plane, the lava diverts automatically. Because 20-something years ago, the next volcano over erupted and created these automatic lava channels. So the lava just flowed automatically and just went down, and then the plane comes out of the dive and they go and land, and the city is saved, and the thing is saved, and everyone is happy, and that's the end of the fucking story. So basically, the three plans that they were doing and trying to stop everything and the time limit and all of that didn't fucking matter because it would have happened naturally anyway. And I believe at the end of this, let me just fucking find the fucking line where he goes, Mac waited until he was finally breathing normally again. Then Dr. John McGregor, man of science, smiled at the pilot. Nature just happened, he said. Isn't that something? I can't believe what we just saw. Then Mac let out a whoop. So did Riley. The Eagle was flying on only one engine, but it was enough for Riley to land the plane safely. In the end, it had been lava that had saved the world. Fuck off. Fuck off with that fucking ending. So disappointing. I mean, there's an epilogue that tells you what happens 4 months later, and there's side stories with like the teenage guy that Mac takes under his wing, and his mother, and the town is protesting that the military digging up burial sites and all that. It's fucking superfluous. You've just got the whole story, and I just gave away the fucking ending. And you know what? I don't fucking care. The book itself, though, was a ton of fun, well worth the read. even though the ending was disappointing, but you get that with a lot of things. You get that with fucking movies. You get that with TV shows. I mean, just look at Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever. The endings are going to be disappointing. It's a given. Okay? But Eruption, really fun book. Really enjoyed it. The characters were written so well, so human. They had their flaws. They had their strengths. You kind of got to see this back and forth. And what I really appreciated is this is something that Michael Crichton does well, and this is also something that James Patterson does well. The hero characters, their strengths are prominent, but their flaws are also prominent. The asshole characters, their strengths are there, but their flaws are prominent. So we know, okay, this guy, you're a fucking dick. This guy, I'm going to root for you. I absolutely love that. And there are times when the lines get blurred a bit, which is great, but ultimately, really enjoyed the book Eruption, written by Michael Crichton. Did I say Connolly before? I think I said Connolly before. I'm talking Michael Crichton. Michael Connolly's a different author. I apologize for that misstep there. Michael Crichton, James Patterson. Well worth your time. On the back it says, 2 of the best-selling storytellers of all time have created an unforgettable thriller. Couldn't have put it better myself. So, here's to Volcanic Eruption on a Hot Day. Now, everybody, please, 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 if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all that other fucking shit. Tell your friends, we are so close to 500 subscribers, which, when we do get, my book review will be the most offensive book in my collection of books here. And trust me when I say, not only is it the most offensive book in my collection, it might very well be the most offensive book of all time. Going even further than some of the writings of the Marquis de Sade, probably crossing that line. But, of course, everyone, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And please, 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 people. Well, I usually say read a fucking book. But I'm going to say go out there and save the fucking world.